Autumn Phoenix. Be sure to follow me on my social media platforms. Find me on Facebook at Magically Blessed. Find me on Twitter at Priestess Autumn. Find me on YouTube at Autumn Phoenix. Find me on Instagram at autumn_Phoenix1. And find me on Periscope at Autumn Phoenix. Tonight's broadcast is what the cost that witches pay being a witch. It's not easy being a witch. A witch is a man or a woman who practices witchcraft. Witchcraft is working with the energy found in nature to bring about change in the practitioner's life. People who practice witchcraft want real change in their life. They are desperate for it. They may have been former Christians, Muslims, and Jews, and those false beliefs just don't hold any water. Those false beliefs are just not helping them in the current situation that is really bogging them down, and they want change. They want change in which they have a actual hand in, because when you do witchcraft, it's not just enough to do a spell. When you do witchcraft, you also have to do your part. You can't just do a spell and just hope for the best. If you want to get an A+ on that test, you have to study for the test. If you want to be married, you actually have to leave your house. Magic will only take you half of the way. You have to bring up the rear. I can understand why some witches want to bypass all the true cost of witchcraft in favor of shelling out big bucks. Big bucks for a pretty candle and courses making equally big promises. There are costs witches must pay. These tolls unleash not only our truth, but also our ability to effectively manipulate energies. In other words, being a witch unleashes the true magic, both natural and in terms of spell casting within ourselves. The cost is worth it. It's worth it. It's worth to have a better life that you do now. It's worth being able to keep the bills on. It's worth it to be able to feed and clothe your family. It's worth it. That's why I became a witch, because I don't want to live in poverty. I don't want to live beneath my means. I became a witch because I actually want real change in my life, change that I never got when I was a Christian. I never got the change that was promised to me. The only change that the church promised me, like other false beliefs, is that you get it after your life has passed away. I'm not worried about the afterlife. I'm worried about paying this electric bill. So I need a spell for money, and a lot of it, or they're going to turn my lights off. Now, there is a difference between practicing witchcraft and being a witch. Being a witch is a calling, a orientation, a practice, and a lifestyle. It is the path known as the other. Oftentimes, even now in 2020, shunned by society. Christians use ridiculous assertions to brand mostly women as evil sorcerers, and a pitiful attempt to control unruly, marginalized people. Christianity is a cult, and it is that fear that keeps a lot of people from leaving. And I know this from personal experience because I used to be one. I did not just step into the craft. I used to be a Methodist. I went through the whole bullshit that the church still plays on people. I got played. I got scammed out of money from investing into these ministries. So I was one of the lucky ones to get out of that cult and take back control over my own life by working with the energies found in nature to bring about real change. You work, you do witchcraft because you want real change. You don't get anywhere in life by staying on your ass. And if you've been following me for any number of years, you know I'm always going to tell you the truth. Always. And that's exactly what these false belief systems are. Sitting around and doing nothing, being nothing, and repeating it when the new year rolls around. Witchcraft has become a big part of the new consumer economy of wellness that includes healing crystals and spells, and it's actually estimated to be worth $3.7 trillion. Not a billion. $3.7 trillion. Now, don't get me wrong. Many of these things are helpful. It is the over-reliance on them that makes it a waste of money. Because some witches, when they first start out, they believe that they need everything they see on TV, or they need everything that another witch has, and then they end up broke. That's why I tell everybody to stick within your budget. That's how you stop yourself from becoming poor. If you know you can't afford it, find a substitute that will give you the same result but for a lower price. One of the costs of being a witch has always been the very real risk of being burned. The other costs of being a witch include giving up lies, ignorance. Other tolls are relinquishing certainty and comfort. All of these are fees exacted for anyone who dares to live their truth. But given the history of witchcraft, for us, they come with additional charges. After all, we are the ones who have had to pay the ultimate price sometimes with our lives in the past. So there are three causes for being a witch. The first one is the only rule in witchcraft that really matters is know thyself. If you feel your witchiness in your very bones, then all your efforts to deny it will be very expensive. As long as we remain in denial, our shadow self reigns supreme. Know yourself before you get into the craft. The craft is just an extension of yourself. The second cause, bad relationships. Looking to other people for validation is not the way of the witch. a very real toll that many of us have to pay is in the false relationships we maintain as long as we deny our truth. I've lost so-called friends because I chose to accept my calling. A witch is never really solitary. He or she has the deities he or she knows to keep him or her company. When we sacrifice bad relationships with people who don't accept us for who we are, we create the space for amazing new people to come into our lives. The third cause, certainty. This is where the difference between being a witch and practicing it as a modern pagan religion becomes quite clear. Religion is about buying into a doctrine that promises a certain outcome. In Christianity, the goal is getting into heaven. Do this or that, and all will be all good in the game. Being a witch means giving up this certainty. It's about learning to accept what cannot be controlled to free us up to work on what we can control. It is about adapting and changing given the demands of the situation. Witches are all about change. If they find something new that will help their craft, they're going to apply it to their lives. And for those of you who don't know this, Wicca is a nature-based religion, which means that practicing it out in the open, out in public, is protected underneath the Constitution. So for those witches that have been prosecuted, especially here in America, you're not wrong. And if you've been arrested or been given a ticket, fight that ticket. Because nobody has the right to treat you that way just because you're not part of another branch of religion. So thank you all for joining me tonight. Let me tell you again where you can find me on social media. Find me on Facebook at Magically Blessed. Find me on Twitter at Priestess Autumn. Find me on YouTube at Autumn Phoenix. Find me on Instagram at Autumn_Phoenix1. Find me here on Periscope at Autumn Phoenix.